podcast on Anchor. This time it's gonna be a little bit different. I don't have Luis with me. I do apologize for last week. We weren't able to upload on time because I was sick and I'm kind of still recovering from that at the moment. But this is your host, Raul Alejandro Mendoza, and you can follow me on Twitter at pwnerd97_. I know it's not that fun to hear one voice on a podcast compared to the two voices, which if I had Luis, it'd be a lot more energetic talking about this stuff. So I understand if you guys don't listen to all of this, but if you do, I completely understand. And if you do listen to it, I completely appreciate your support for the podcast. But today we got a lot of stuff to talk about. That's accumulated from the past weeks that we've been seeing a lot of news coming up in the movie world. And we are going to end this podcast with a review of It. That was Stephen King's latest novel adaptation, starring Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise and the Losers Club. I don't remember the actors' names. I just remember that kid from Stranger Things, Finn Wolfhard, like that. I think that's his name. But yeah, we'll be ending the podcast with that review. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. It's currently 10:28 on Sunday, September 24th. We're recording it today, and I really hope I can get this up by today. But without further ado, we can start talking about some movie news. So, first thing on the agenda is Gavin O'Connor is the writer and director for Suicide Squad 2, which I have no problem with. Gavin O'Connor is the one who made he directed Accountant, the movie with Ben Affleck, and he directed Warriors, which was another really good movie too. Yeah, Gavin O'Connor's talented when it comes to his movies, and I think he's not a perfect fit. A perfect fit would have been Mel Gibson for Suicide Squad 2. That's just my opinion, but I think he's a fine fit for this next production. I really hope it's a lot better than the first one, because the first one absolutely bored me to death. The first time I saw it wasn't that bad, and then I see it the second time and I started seeing the problems with the movie. And I understand that, the script was written in 6 weeks, so you could tell when you were watching that movie that the script was written in 6 weeks. I think that's really the only movie in the DCU that I have a real big problem with. I've watched Batman vs Superman a couple of times already, and I kind of do see what they were trying to do with it, and I enjoy it, but it's not the best. Of course, Wonder Woman was the best one to me. I think that was a magnificent film, definitely my favorite from the DCU. So yeah, I really hope it works out for Suicide Squad 2, and they just pick up after the slack that was on the first movie, and I think Gavin O'Connor would definitely be the person for that. So then next, Matthew Vaughn is in talks to be directing Man of Steel 2. So if you're not knowledgeable with Matthew Vaughn directed the two Kingsman movies, Kick-Ass, which are all 3 great movies. I haven't watched the sequel to Kingsman, but I have been hearing a lot of things about it, and apparently it's really good. Kick-Ass is a really good movie. The second one is good too. But yeah, I can definitely see Matthew Vaughn taking a different approach to it. And we have been hearing about all these rumors about Man of Steel 2 for a while, and the first rumor I think was just that it was in production, that they got the green light to go with it, and now they were hearing something about a possible director. That makes it real fun, and knowing it's someone like Matthew Vaughn, whose movies are just really good. I would definitely love to see the church scene in Kingsman, the first movie. If they do something like that in Man of Steel, oh, that could work out so well, and I think it would be definitely interesting in the DCU. Because I mean, we've had some really good fights in the DCU as of late in the movies, but but we've never had something that really stuck out. So having a director like Matthew Vaughn, who directed that church scene, we could be in for some really nice action sequences. All right. Let's see what's next. Oh yeah. So last week was a big week for Star Wars. Their director for Star Wars Episode 9 had dropped out, and so Star Wars Episode 9 was without a director for a while. Um, and all of a sudden, I see the next couple of days that J.J. Abrams is back, and he will be directing Episode 9. And I'm pretty excited about that, but you do know that's like a big stress upon JJ's shoulders, because he's in charge of concluding this new saga that we have, and I can't really explain because the movie hasn't come out yet. But I'm still so excited for Last Jedi, and I want to see how Rian Johnson does it. But I think I'm fine with having J.J. Abrams direct the last movie. And at the same time, I loved Force Awakens, so I do have faith in J.J. Abrams. But we have to see what's up, man. Like, can you do it? Is it going to be too much of a stress? Concluding the new trilogy of this prestigious movie series. We'll see. But I have full faith, and I'm confident that J.J. Abrams can do it. I think J.J. Abrams is the man to do it. Hold up. No, I think J.J. Abrams is the one to do it. I think J.J. Abrams showed with all of his other past work that he's able to do it. So like I said, I'm more than confident. I think that. I'm sorry, guys. It's early in the morning. I'm pretty still sleepy, but I wanted to record this podcast. But yeah, I think that J.J. Abrams is definitely fit for the movie. See what's next. So this is one that I thought it was really interesting. Apparently, Stan Lee and Marvel are working on getting rights for Fantastic Four and X-Men. That's something that I know Luis and I have been pushing for a while, because I think Luis and I are, well, we wouldn't say in a minority, because I know a lot of comic fans want to see this happen, but we want to see an Illuminati movie. The Illuminati includes Black Bolt, Black Panther, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Mr. Fantastic, and they're actually the ones who sent Hulk away to that planet, where he ends up going into the whole Planet Hulk comic story. And we can't get that in theaters with the MCU, because Fantastic Four is obviously under Fox, and it sucks, man, because we have all these opportunities for a lot of good movies that could be made under the MCU if Fox would give up those rights to Fantastic Four and X-Men, which they haven't been doing a good job with on their end. And I think if they take the opportunity like Sony did with Spider-Man, which paved the way to make this great movie that was Spider-Man: Homecoming, I think they could definitely make it work with Fantastic Four and X-Men. But there has to be that negotiation for rights, and that's the only thing I really hate about the comic movie world. It's like this whole idea of rights, like which company has rights to this character, which company has rights to that. It's all under the Marvel cloud, and I think it should all belong to Marvel. And you can share characters all you want. I don't think that one specific company should have rights to just one character, unless you're universe building like the MCU, which you can't really have the same actor portray the same character in a Fox film or a Sony film. So we'll see. I really do hope Stan Lee and Marvel do get those rights, because it's something a lot of comic fans have been wanting to see. I know that the Fantastic Four last movie that came out was not good, and we could definitely see a good use of them on the MCU. And of course, X-Men. Come on, like, Fox has done some good movies. I will give them that. I will give them that. Deadpool, um, Days of Future Past, Logan, which is honestly to me my favorite comic book movie of all time, and X-Men First Class. All those great movies, which are a small amount compared to all the Fox X-Men films that have come out, but you know, I think we talked about this on the last podcast of how I think of what I think about the Fox Marvel universe, and yeah, it could benefit a lot from having them on the MCU. So let's go on to the next topic. Ooh, yeah, this one's a good one. So there's was a release of the new Hellboy pictures that will come from the new Hellboy movie that will come out in 2019. That David Halbern will be playing, and damn, Hellboy looks jacked. Like, seriously, the man looks like completely ready to go into this movie. Like, David Harbour looks really good as excuse me. David Harbour looks really good as Hellboy, and I think with the recent controversy that happened with Ed Screen, I think this movie is headed into a really good direction. Um, David Harbour, like I said, looks good as Hellboy. If you haven't seen the recent pictures, I'm gonna upload them on. You know what? No, I don't think I want to upload them actually. If we had our own private, if we not private, if we had our own Twitter for this podcast, maybe we would start doing that. You guys, tell me actually, should we invest in making a new Twitter for this podcast where we can actually share, these pictures and all these things that we're talking about in the podcast? Yeah, go ahead and tell me that on mine. Like I said in the beginning, or comment it here on Anchor, because Anchor does allow that to happen. You can send in voice messages onto our podcast and hear those suggestions, and I think that's really good for Anchor to allow that. It makes it unique for for podcasts to get that actual feedback by sending things like that. But yeah, let's go back to Hellboy. Hellboy looks really good. There hasn't been any talks about what the story's gonna be. All I know is that it will come out in 2019, and I'm looking forward to it. David Holborn looks great. Ed Screen is not in the movie anymore, and that, whatever controversy was following that, I agree with him, and I think it was really good for him to step down. And we'll see. Definitely look forward to seeing Hellboy in 2019. There's another movie. They got some pictures released for it, and it's no other than the movie that will be seeing in a couple of months coming in, Justice League. The picture that was released was of Barry Allen in his chemistry lab. I think that's really. I think if you guys have to look at the picture because it's really cool. It's Barry just standing in his lab, and he has all of his chemicals. He has Rick and Morty playing on his TV, which I think is really cool. It's just a little tease for us to see what we could be expecting in the coming months when it comes to this movie. I think I'm totally ready for this movie and super excited. And I know you guys can't tell by my tone of voice right now because I'm really sleepy, but this movie I think will be my favorite DCEU movie. It depends how it compares to Wonder Woman. I doubt. I hope. It's not that I doubt. I just hope it's not as good as Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman was so good. But I'm always ready to be proved wrong. Uh, Barry looks great. Barry's being played by Ezra Miller. I'm sorry. Barry's being played by Ezra Miller actually, and there's been a lot of rumors coming out about this. When it comes to the Flash aspect of the of the Justice League, that there's saying that the Iris West scenes have been cut out, and because of this whole controversy that's following the stepping down of Zack Snyder, and we just want you all to know that we as a podcast and as comic fans in general, we stand with Zack and his need to step down after his daughter's death. Um, I'm not a big fan of Snyder's work, but I would never disrespect the man and say that he should have stayed and done and complete the project, because it's not right, man. Like, you know, I respect the man's decision. He's he's correct for doing that, and if I was him, I would have done the same thing, even though it's something unimaginable that, you know, people don't want to imagine losing their own daughter. So, Zach, after that, Joss Whedon came in to finish up what Zach had left, which was just the reshoots. And if you do know that Joss Whedon was the guy who directed Avengers, he's going to be directing the Batgirl movie, and it's a perfect fit to leave the project with. But after all this controversy had happened, Joss Whedon did the reshoots, and he started cutting things out of Zack Snyder's movie, which is what is sane right now, and which is basically what's going around right now. I want to believe it, but I also don't, because I know that I feel like Joss would have that type of respect for Zack to not cut out things that he wanted in the movie. But I don't know. We have to wait and see until the movie comes out to know what was Joss and what was Zack's parts of the movie that they filmed. But a lot of the things they said that they cut out was especially the ending, and that they wanted to make the movie a little bit more complete and not a little, like, more of a tease of what's to come. But yeah, that's the whole thing, is that they said that the Iris West scenes have been cut, and also that Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor is not in the movie, that they cut those things out too. I take both of those rumors with a grain of salt. I'm telling you guys, like, I'm just gonna wait until the movie comes out and to see if basically these rumors are true, because it's really hard to know what to believe, especially when it's such a controversial project right now with all that's going on, and it gives room to clickbait articles and companies just to, say what they want to get your viewership. But if it happens to be true that these scenes have been cut out, as much as I don't want to see Lex Luthor, because I think that Jesse Eisenberg's portrayal of Lex was not good at all. But if it comes to that, then I think it's not good for the continuity of the movie, and especially the film franchise, and especially with Iris West, because you're going to start because you're gonna start introducing the Flash universe and in the DCEU. So of course you need to have Iris West in it. So I hope they didn't cut it out, but at the same time, there's only one way to find out, is by going to the movie to see it on November. I hope it's not true. So let's see what we have next to talk about. I believe yeah, this one's interesting. So I was talking about movies coming out in 2019, and well, look at it. Well, I'm sorry. Collecting myself. It is early in the morning, so I'm really sleepy. I feel like I've said that a lot already. But if we're talking about movies coming out in 2019, John Wick 3, John Wick Chapter 3 has been announced to be coming out in May 2019, especially on the specific date being the 17th of May. I watched John Wick a couple of weeks ago, and for the first time, and I thought it was really good. Haven't watched chapter two all that much. I haven't watched it at all. I want to. It's just that it's it's hard to find it to watch it, and I thought they would put it on HBO or something, but they haven't. And as soon as it comes up, I will definitely be watching it. I don't know what to say in regards to this. I think the first John Wick was really good. Don't get me wrong, I loved it. But a lot of people say like, "Oh, it's not good. Chapter two is better." But we'll have to wait and see. But no, but the third movie is coming out in 2019, so we do have some time to wait. But you know, I'm all for seeing Keanu Reeves being a total badass on the movie screen. So we'll see what's up. That's scheduled for 2019, which other movies like Captain Marvel will be coming out in 2019. And talking about Captain Marvel, Brie Larson has started to record her scenes as Captain Marvel for Avengers 4, which is which was Infinity War Part 2, but they didn't want to make it a Part 2 two-part movie. It's basically a two-part movie, but they don't want to say Infinity War Part 2, so they're going to name it something else. Right now it's untitled, and we refer to it as Avengers 4, which is basically what it is, because Infinity War is Part 3. Is the third movie of the Avengers. So obviously, if you did not know, Brie Larson and Kevin Feige had said before that Captain Marvel was not appearing in Infinity War, and some people were pretty confused about that, and especially because the I'm sorry the what's the word I'm looking for, the the plot for the story that was going to be used for the Captain Marvel movie is based on the Skrull Empire, and is going to be based in the 90s. So they were thinking, when are they going to start implementing that? Are they going to do it in Infinity War? Like, how are they going to set up that story? And it looks like there's not much to say about that right now to know how it's going to go down. But she is recording her scenes for Avengers 4, so we would definitely be watching her in that movie. And I don't know, I'm pretty sure Avengers 4 comes out in 2019, early 2019, and I believe that Captain Marvel comes out late 2019. But we'll be seeing. Maybe that's where it sets up the whole story for Captain Marvel. We'll just have to wait and see. But it is exciting to know that Brie Larson is recording her scenes already, so it gets us pretty hyped for that. And last but not least, before getting into the whole It review, this one's something that I'm super excited for, and I'm glad that I'm ending this segment on it. I have to collect my thoughts because I'm so excited for this. And I think I talked to a couple of friends online about this. Patty Jenkins, as reported by Variety, will be returning to direct Wonder Woman 2. I am super excited about that because I think Patty Jenkins is a great part of that movie. Just knowing that she directed it and how she directed it, that's what makes the movie stand out to me, because Patty Jenkins brings that different directional strategy to the film and makes it just look like an absolute beautiful movie. I believe one of my favorite parts of that first movie was the battle scene on Themyscira, between the Amazonians and I believe it was Germans that had finally discovered that force field around Themyscira that would show nothing, but they went through it and they reached the beaches and they attacked the Amazonians. That scene is so beautifully shot. I think that is definitely one of my favorite scenes in the movie, and Patty Jenkins absolutely killed it when setting up that scene. So I'm super excited to see where Wonder Woman 2 goes. I believe Wonder Woman 2 will come out in 2019. Uh, I think that's what the date was set from after San Diego Comic Con. So we'll have to see what's up with that. But I definitely am excited to have Patty Jenkins come back to direct this. And I told my friends I'm all for a trilogy from Patty. I think if she works it correctly, I could see that Wonder Woman trilogy getting to the lengths that was the Christopher Nolan trilogy for Batman. Even though that Christopher Nolan trilogy was a standalone thing, it wasn't in the DCEU. But Patty Jenkins does have the talent for directing a trilogy for Wonder Woman. So that was it for movie news. Forgot that we were gonna. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about some trailers because this has been a big week for trailers. I do want to start with one movie that I'm really really excited for because Wes Anderson is super talented. I think. If I'm trying to remember, he did Mr. Fantastic, Mr. Fantastic Fox. No, Fantastic Mr. Fox. I'm sorry. And he did Grand Budapest Hotel, and I believe that's the one that got him an Oscar, I believe. But yeah, Grand Budapest Hotel is a wonderful movie, and Wes Anderson is super talented. Fantastic Mr. Fox was shot in stop motion animation, so seeing Isles of Dogs come in soon, and I know that movie is going to be stop motion animation, and it's honestly a really good plot. Basically, it's based in Japan, and they moved all these dogs to a certain island, and one of their owners is coming to look for their dog because obviously the owner loves the dog, and it's just, come on, like, who's not gonna love their own dog? That's just, if you don't love your dog, that's sad, man. But the owner tries to come back to the island to find the dog, but the dogs have created this civilization on the island where it kind of goes by their rules and their way of life. So it looks like a really good movie. I think, excuse me, I'm sorry, I had to burp there and I'm trying to catch my breath. Isles of Dogs looks good. Wes Anderson, to me, is definitely up there as being one of the best, along with Nolan of this generation. Of this generation, I can definitely say that Wes Anderson and Nolan are definitely two of the best ones right now. So knowing that Wes Anderson's coming back with a new movie will be great. And I want to leave that. I want to end on that note with Isles of Dogs. The score sounds beautiful right now. From the trailer, the music that was used sounds beautiful, and if it's the same music that's being used in the movie, that will definitely be a big standout for me. And it's usually what stands out to me in Wes Anderson films. It's usually the movies, and not the movies. I'm sorry. It's usually the music that's being used. So next, I want to kind of go over just the movies first, and then I'll go into these TV shows. But next we have a movie that I'm really... Look, I want to be completely honest with you guys. I don't trust video game adaptations anymore after what happened with Assassin's Creed, which was horrible to me. I think it was a bad adaptation, and I can't believe I wasted my money on that movie. So, Tomb Raider will be getting a adaptation for it, and I watched the trailer. Pretty exciting trailer, but it's nothing that will make me want to go watch it because I don't trust video game adaptation movies anymore. Um, if you all do like the trailer and are excited for watching it, I completely respect that, but it's, I don't know, man. I just don't want to trust this anymore. And knowing that what they've done with past video game adaptation movies like Warcraft, it was just, will I go watch it and pay $5 to watch it? Yes. Will I pay the whole $10 to watch it? Not really. I'll leave it at that. Um, the last movie I want to talk about is this. I'm trying to remember who is directing it, but here, let me search that up real quick. But it is being distributed by A24, and the name of the movie is Lady Bird, and it's starring Cyrus. I don't know how to say that name. Ronan, Lucas Hedges, who comes out in Manchester by the Sea, Laurie Metcalf, and Tracy Letts. It's basically this coming of age movie directed by Greta Gerwig, who this will be her directional debut, and it will be coming out in November. Greta Gerwig did came out in some TV shows. I'm trying to remember. 20th Century Woman. She came out in that 20th Century Woman movie, which was really good. And I believe she came out in Hidden Figures, which was a really good movie too. Basically, this movie is just coming of age, and it has to do with a daughter and her mother who they have a really weird relationship. They're able to stand each other, and at some points they don't. The daughter goes to a Catholic school and is basically just trying to find what to do in her life, and trying to find which school she wants to go to, even if she even wants to go to school after high school. And she basically doesn't relate to anybody else in the family except her own mother, who both have strong personalities. And the movie looks really good. I believe it premiered at a film festival this year, and apparently it was really good, so I'm excited to see it when it hits in November. I don't know the specific date it hits in November, but I know it's November, and if it does come to my city, I will be probably reviewing that with Luis. But I have that. You have that to look forward to. Then once again, that's Lady Bird, directed by Greta Gerwig, starring Lucas Hedges, Cyrus. I don't know how to say her name, Ronan, but it looks really good. All right, we can go into TV shows now. Flash season 4 has had some trailers. I believe it had one after San Diego Comic-Con, which looked really good, and then it had this new promo for the next season that's coming out in a couple of weeks. The writing for season 3 wasn't there, and that kind of makes me sad because, I'm sorry, let me catch my breath. Season 2 was actually really good for The Flash. Season 1 and Season 2 are really good, and then the whole writing behind Season 3 was not the best. But we are not going to have a speedster villain in this new season, and that kind of ticks me off, man, because The Flash is known for his speedster villains, and I'm not asking for them to put Godspeed in this, but I have no idea who this villain is. It's some samurai looking dude, and I heard that that they said that this show is going back to its fun roots, which looks, to me, it's good because that reminds me of season 1, which was really good to me, but I don't know what they're gonna do. And they just announced like 2 days ago, I believe, the crossover from all the other shows, which will be Crisis on Earth X. So in the comics, it's basically this different world where the Nazis won World War II. It's an interesting comic story, and I'm excited to see how they picture that in this crossover that's gonna happen. I'm a fan of these crossovers actually. The first one was pretty cool, but we'll see how this new one goes. Um, Always down to see Flash team up with Green Arrow and Supergirl and the Legends of Tomorrow. I would talk about Arrow, but I'm actually not caught up. Supergirl, I still need to finish some episodes in season 2. Have not watched Legends of Tomorrow, so sorry I'm not as knowledgeable in those shows. But always down for this new season and the crossover that's coming from the CW shows. Also, Black Lightning will be an interesting show to watch. We'll definitely be catching that. I know that there's also a Teen Titans show that's going to be coming out on the CW, which I'm excited for too. I believe they casted their Dick Grayson already, but I don't know who the actor is, but I know that they casted someone already. I know they casted Starfire. I don't know if they casted Raven yet, but I know that they did get Starfire and Dick Grayson. But that's basically for CW shows. I want to end this whole trailer. I want to end this whole straight. I'm sorry, I can't say trailer today. I want to end this trailer spotlight segment with talking with the big elephant in the room that everybody is talking about. That is Punisher Season 1, which will be coming to Netflix. We don't know the release date yet. There is a rumor that it's October 13th, but we'll see what's up. But if you watch this trailer, it is freaking good. John, don't roast me for not pronouncing this correctly, but John Bernthal is going to be coming back to play the Punisher. You saw him in season 2 of Daredevil, which was absolutely awesome. I think John Bernthal was one of the parts of that whole season that stood out to me the most. So knowing that John Bernthal will be getting his solo Punisher show and seeing where we go after this will be really interesting. I think John has the power to make this a really good show with his ability. And from that whole trailer, it's absolutely gave me chills from beginning to end, because most of the gun action is being synced with the audio, which is basically One by Metallica. It's a song called One by Metallica, and it starts out acoustically and then it goes to the actual song itself, and it's really interesting. It's obviously going to be an origin based TV show. And we'll be following the past of John Bernthal's Punisher and this other story that they're going to be talking about. But it will probably be a mix of both, because we did get the origin story a little bit in Daredevil season 2, but it's the Punisher's origin story is something that I don't mind being covered like 5 or 6 times, because the Punisher has such an interesting origin to its character, and I'm always down, man. Like, I can't explain how excited I am right now in my morning voice, but if you all could see me right now, you would know that I'm beyond hyped for this show, and it's gonna be interesting. Alright. So next will be our review of Stephen King's It. Oh, man. And I think I don't want to do that with Luis. So I think we're going to record that tomorrow. So I'm going to kind of stop right here, and we'll be back to talk about that review. I know he said we'll do it tomorrow. If later in the day he tells me that he can't do it tomorrow, I'm just going to do it on my own. But I hope you did enjoy me talking about all these other movies and trailers that are coming out, and all these news. Thank you again for listening to me ramble on, because I know it's not as interesting with one voice, but stay tuned for a review of It, and we love everybody who listens to the podcast. We'll be back with our review of It, and you'll find out either if it's me alone or if it's Luis himself. Take care. 1. Welcome back to Nerd Corpse Podcast. We're here with Alex Flores and my brother Eric Mendoza. Hey guys.
What's up? What's good, man?
Yeah, promote your social media before we start this review of it.
Go ahead, Alex. You can go first.
My social media?
Yeah.
I'll keep that to myself. I'll eventually make my own public one that I will allow people to follow me.
Okay, so...
But your Instagram is full of really nice pictures.
My Instagram is full of really nice pictures. Well, they can find me at strawhat_Alex.
Okay, good. You can promote that one. It doesn't have to be Twitter or Snapchat.
Okay, here we go, guys. My name's Eric, and you can find me on Twitter, Eric Menwho. That's Eric with a CK, Menwho. And I'll be putting up the link to my YouTube on Twitter too. Okay.
Alright, so we're going to get ready with this review of Stephen King's latest adaptation, It. So, let's start with describing what it was. So, this is based on a novel of It by Stephen King. This first part of this movie is the first chapter, so it starts with just the Losers Club being the little kids. Being terrorized by the demon clown, Pennywise, and basically that's it. Like, they're trying to kill it because Pennywise feeds on fear of these kids. So, Alex, what'd you think about it?
Well, for me, I've never read the book before. I didn't watch the original mini-series back in the 90s, so other than that, I found it a really interesting experience. I found it as a fantastic experience. It didn't really need any prior knowledge to either the novel or the original adaptation.
Yeah.
You can easily jump into this and just quickly get it.
Yeah.
I think that's what appealed to me the most about it.
Yeah, I know. I felt that too. Like, I know about the book. I've watched the miniseries from the 90s, and I felt going in like, if I would have went in naked, I wouldn't have known, not knowing anything about the book or the series before. I feel like that would have been able to describe everything I needed to know.
That and I don't know. I thought the film overall was just great. I thought it was beautifully shot. The actors were great. Yeah. The pacing was fine. Yeah. Everything just, it was what it needed to be.
Right. What about you, Eric? What did you like about it?
The movie as a whole, I loved it. You don't need any prior knowledge to it, and that's like, I came in, how you said, I came in naked. So watching this, adaptation was the first, entry to it. I hadn't read the book. I know that on the way to New York, I had seen a little kid reading the book, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna read the book. But then I was like, oh no, I didn't read the book. Then the miniseries in the 90s, I didn't see that. So I went into it, but no.
but naked? No, it's not
I went into the theater, naked, not knowing anything about. Shut up, bro. Not knowing anything about the movie. So, I don't like horror movies. If I'd like to choose, do I want to go to an action movie or do I want to go to a horror movie? I'm gonna go to an action movie because I like action much more than horror movies. So
yeah,
I just don't like dipping my feet into scary stuff, so I'd rather stay away from that.
Hold up. I want everybody to know on this podcast that Eric was completely scared from the jump scares.
Yeah.
You didn't see me getting scared much. There's 2 scenes that did scare me. The projector scene, and the scene where Pennywise kidnaps Beverly. Those are 2 scenes that really scared me. Eric was jumping with every single jump scare that came up.
Directors do jump scares for people like me. They have people like me in their mind whenever they say, hey, cinematographer, let's do a real quick jump scare here. So, directors have me in mind. And, okay, so...
Any scenes that got you scared, Alex? Hold up, Eric. Any scenes that got you scared, Alex? Like, actually, got you?
For me, I gotta be honest, and this is me being 100% completely honest, I didn't find the jump scare scary at all. I think the one part, and it's mostly just the way that I get with some things, the one part that made me like cringe and I actually closed my eyes just for like the moment that it happened was when the kid snapped Eddie's arm back into place.
Oh yeah, no, I get that. Injuries.
Out of all the jump scares, the one thing that scared you the most was putting an arm back into its socket.
But that was the one thing that personally freaked me out. I was just like, no, I'm not gonna look at this.
Yeah.
I've never liked shit like that.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of injuries, and so when I see something gets like dislocated, I think the like injuries themselves. I mean, come on, man. Like Sid Vicious when he broke his leg, that's something that's not good to see. But seeing some dude get his arm dislocated and just puts it back into place, that's like super. Oh,
I feel like I didn't pay no mind to Eddie's arm because I was so occupied with being scared by Pennywise at the moment. So
yeah.
I didn't get cringed out from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, one thing I do want to bring up, guys, is Film Wolfhard. The kid was in Stranger Things, and then he jumps on it.
I don't think Alex has watched Stranger Things.
Have you watched Stranger Things, Alex? The hit show on Netflix.
I have not watched the first season of Stranger Things. I'm probably going to catch it sooner to its second season's premiere.
Yeah, you should watch it, man. It's a really good show. I love it.
It's alright. It's alright.
Finn had a great performance on there. Like it's his breakout show, and to jump into a movie and to as an actor, I know that changing from character to character is really hard, especially when it's your breakout show. And especially when, you get so connected with the character, and when you know that you're going to need to do, when you're shooting a second season after the success of the first season, and then you go into a whole different character, it's really hard to get into character. But I feel like Finn, apart from all the hyping up of what's his name, of Richie on Twitter, because I saw on Twitter, all these tweets about, oh yeah, Richie, Finn, he did a full 180 and he killed it. And then I was like, oh cool, I'm gonna go into the theater, get a good performance from Finn. And then when the movie ends, I was like, what did I just watch? Richie just went down. At first, the first 10, 15 minutes, you're like, oh cool, this guy's having a good performance, and then it just slacks off. I feel like he was just trying to joke. I see the whole character as a joke.
You know what really annoys me, and I think you and I, Alex, we can agree on this. It reminds me of us when we were kids. Like, we used to joke like that all the time. So it's like seeing it on screen. That's what's making me cringe, because I'm thinking, I used to do the mom jokes like crazy. I used to do like that. Like, I used to act like that. So that's what's making me cringe with this character.
No, but
hold up, wait, let Alex talk.
Okay.
To be completely honest, it actually didn't make me cringe. It made me laugh because, like you said, it reminded me of me. It very much reminded me, and I was talking about that with a friend, and that's what made me just love the chemistry between the kids, and just the way that Richie was always just cracking jokes, because that was practically me. Yeah. That's how I was growing up. So everything was being done and said. I'm like, well, I probably said some of that shit at one point.
Yeah.
I completely disagree, man. I feel like Richie was too forced. You gotta find, as an actor, you gotta find that point where you say, I'm gonna give my lines with this type of emphasis and this type of, meaning. And I don't feel he found that truly to that character. I don't think he actually dove into Richie as much as he dove into the kid from Stranger Things.
I mean, that's the thing. The only part you've seen this kid on has been Stranger Things. So what are you gonna know about that? Hold up, Alex. Yeah, Eric's gonna be right back. Okay. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing. The only thing we've seen from Finn has been Stranger Things. So I guess we haven't seen him in his niche yet. So I mean, I think that was it. But I laughed at the jokes, but part of me was like, dude, I'm annoyed with this character already. I liked what he did for Bill at the end, and I think Bill's character is really nice too. I could tell throughout the whole movie how how devastated he was about his brother because he doesn't know whether he's alive or not, and it sucks, man. Like I see Bill, and it's like I'm seeing grief on his freaking face.
Baylor trying to talk to me. I don't want to talk to no Baylor kid. But yeah, I heard you talking about. I'm sorry. I heard you talking about Bill. Is that who you're talking about? You know, Bill had a great performance. I love Bill. You know, everything from his facial expressions to his, you know, interpretations of his lines to his interactions with the other kids. You know, and that one-on-one with what's it called, with Bev. What's her name?
Beverly.
So Sophia, whatever her last name is.
Sofia Vergara.
No, Sophia. I have it right here. Sophia Lillis. There we go. You know, the chemistry between them, it was great, amazing. I loved it. 10 out of 10 performance from Bill.
Yeah. What'd you think about Bill, Alex?
What did I think about Bill?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the character of Bill. I thought he progressed very much so towards the end of the film. You know, he really built upon his character. And I think like the climax of the film where he sees that one vision of Georgie with Pennywise, felt that, you know, it was very strong because he struggled with that. He's going to give into it, and then he's automatically breaks at the end, but you're not Georgie.
Yeah.
I thought that.
Yeah, I thought that was powerful. I thought that was powerful as hell. I wanted to tear up seeing that because I mean, like, he's so convinced it's Georgie, and he finds out, like, he realizes that that Georgie's been dead. I mean, us as the audience, we knew that Georgie was dead because we saw him get eaten alive, but like, God, seeing Bill's like what's it called, grief on his face, it's horrible, man. Like, I felt sad for the guy.
Bill took the movie. I mean, I was about to say show, but no, Bill took the show. Or took the movie. You know, he took it by the grips and he made it his show.
No, I would definitely say that the one who took it for me was Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. I think. Look, the only thing I remember and only liked about the miniseries was Tim Curry playing Pennywise. But I'm coming in, and Bill Skarsgård actually hits this out of the park as Pennywise, and I loved it.
Bill Skarsgård, you know, this is the first piece of him that I'm seeing, and I loved his performance. You know, I just feel like because it's supposed to center around him, that I don't feel like he did a good job. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he did a good enough job to call it his movie, apart from Bill's movie. So, you know, that's it. He had great, you know, facial expressions. The way he spoke, the way he said he recited his lines. You know, I love.
Hold up, when you say Bill, you're referring to the character, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Landon, whatever. Landon or however you pronounce his name.
Yeah, because if you're saying Bill, I'm thinking Bill Skarsgård.
No. Oh yeah, sorry guys.
Because Bill Skarsgård is the one who plays Pennywise.
No, Bill. Like, Bill.
So what you think about this modern twist on Pennywise, Alex?
Me?
Yeah.
Let me see. I thought it was fantastic. I thought he nailed it. He made it his own. Then again, I'm trying to draw comparisons to the Tim Curry, and I didn't see much of the Tim Curry Pennywise, just like clips here and there.
Yeah.
But other than that, I feel like Bill made it his own.
Yeah.
And he didn't have to borrow too much from the Pennywise of old. And I think the one thing that I liked, and I don't know if other people caught it, but in the scene in the house where Richie is looking at all the other clowns, you actually see a little doll that looks like Tim Curry's Pennywise.
Yeah, I caught that. I thought that was genius. But hey, that scene was really beautifully shot too.
Now talking about how it's shooting and all, you know, the cinematography on the movie, amazing. Yeah. You know, the Amsterdam shots, where they do the little sidewise thing, Alex, with all those shots, amazing. You know, the Amsterdams play this role, so you know, it got me into the movie every time they did that Amsterdam. I think they had one in the projector.
The projector scene?
Yeah, I think they did, and you know, that got me, that hooked me. You know, all the different types of shots that they played, that the director played with, I loved it. You know.
Yeah, the grading, the color grading on the editing was beautiful too. It looks so good. Yeah, that cinematography was honestly the high point of that movie.
I think I think the cinematography added very much to the point of the eeriness and the creepiness of the film.
Yeah.
All the filters that they used in post production for the scenes just really added to the uneasy feeling that the film is supposed to portray.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's what I think that's what most Stephen King adaptations play with. It's color and cinematography. Like The Shining, the color on that movie is absolutely to die for. I mean, it adds to that feeling of uneasiness and fear that it tries to play in you. Alex,
What?
you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me think. I'm thinking about something. Oh yeah. Man, you know what I really did hate? What I really didn't like? Beverly didn't stay with the fat kid.
Oh, for what's his name?
Yeah.
Tyler?
I don't know his name. I know
Let me
the
see.
chubby kid.
No, this one. His
No,
name is...
Um,
Jesus. The insult. They don't have him on the casting list.
you know, homie got what's it called? A poem, made a poem for her. He was his first. She was his first friend. You know, you could tell that he had a connection with her, and like at the end, he's like, "Oh, you're the one who wrote that beautiful poem," which was the only reason she was starting to go after Bill, because he thought that Bill was the one. She thought that Bill was the one that wrote that poem. So I'm thinking like, oh hell yeah, my dude over here is gonna be is gonna get the girl like for a long time. I'm gonna see a little chubby boy get the girl.
Henry?
Yeah, I think it is Henry.
No, it's Ben.
It's Ben.
Yeah, his name is Ben.
Yeah, well Ben doesn't get the girl, dude.
Yeah, that's what kind of disappointed me, especially with like the whole dynamic with Bill. And one thing I am glad about is that, you know, I didn't have to see a love triangle between all the kids. I really didn't want to see that. And so when I felt like when Ben was like gazing at like Bill and Bev, it kind of gave me like, please don't shove this love triangle shit into this.
Yeah.
Next year, don't. I really want to see that. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that they just like totally just didn't go with that.
All right. Yeah. Well, what's it called? I'm glad they didn't do a love triangle, but I think Beverly's character was absolutely kick-ass in this movie, dude. Like, she wasn't scared of Pennywise at all, because, like, the only thing she was scared of before was her father, and then she grows this kind of hate and disdain for him that she's not scared of him anymore. He wants to, like, she basically wants to beat the crap out of the guy for what he does to him. In the book, I believe that the father physically harms her. Physically beats her a lot, but I knew that the original director intended to have some very rape-esque type of scenes in there with her father and the daughter, and that obviously didn't happen in this version with this new director. But you could get that vibe that he was like he was an abuser.
I mean, it kind
Yeah,
of got it
they
when he
really
gets
give
on top
up.
of her.
They really give off that vibe, and I feel like we didn't dive into it as much, but I'm you know, I want to tie that back to what I thought about the movie as a whole. That I just really thought that the movie as a whole was like a callback to classic horror films.
Yeah.
It's very much a callback to classic horror films. It's not very much what you see, but what you imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, like modern horror films, like present you the subject matter like in front of you, and it's like it's usually a lot of intense gore and overused jump scares, and it's just too saturated. And I feel like this was different. I'm not gonna come up here and say, "Hey, it reminded me of The Shining," but no, like it was a callback to those old horror films for sure. And this is coming from someone who doesn't do horror at all. I don't like horror movies, but you know, I bit the bullet with this one.
I'm indifferent about horror movies, mostly because for me, I'm more of a storytelling and narrative kind of guy, and I don't really get that often in horror movies. But I mean, I'm gonna have some person come to me and be like, "Well, that's not the point of horror movies." I know, but you see there's things like it. You see things like it and other Stephen King movies and whatnot that are very story driven.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like Shawshank Redemption. That one's really story driven.
And you think, like you mentioned, The Shining. The Shining is very story driven. It's very narrative driven.
Yeah.
So it's kind of inaccurate for me if someone was to come up to me and say that horror films can't be storytellers.
Yeah.
They very much can be, and this film proved it.
Yeah, this film definitely proved that. So then at the end, the Losers Club basically says, guys, Pennywise isn't really dead. He says like if Pennywise does come back in 27 more years, because it's every 27 years that Pennywise comes back. If in 27 years Pennywise comes back, we'll come back and we'll come back to the town and kill it for good. So then that leads us to having a 2-part film. So next, I believe it's 2019 that it will come out. This next chapter of this movie. So my question is, I'm not gonna make you fan cast the whole kids. So if you could fan cast any of the kids to play their adult self, who would you want?
Who would I want? That's a really good question. If I remember correctly, I was reading up on the original 90 series, and Seth Green played the character of Richie, and maybe it would be a great full circle to bring him back as the adult Richie in chapter 2.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. Here, I'll say mine after Eric. Eric, any of the kids, who do you want to fan cast?
If Will Smith doesn't play the homeschooled boy,
yeah,
I'm mad.
I think that his name is Frank, right?
Yeah, Frank. If Will Smith is, he's got to dip his feet into something much more, I don't want to call it serious, but something a lot more out of his way. And I feel this is a good way to end his, if he wants to end his career in the next 3-4 years, this is going to be it.
No pun intended. Yeah, well, actually, they asked the kid who plays Frank, and he said he'd actually want Chad Boswick to play him. Chad Boswick plays T'Challa, Black Panther in Civil War.
Yeah.
I think Chad Boswick would be great. But if I want a fan cast, I want Amy Adams to play Beverly. I think Amy Adams will be able to work with that dynamic, and Amy Adams, it depends with who she works with, that she'll build that chemistry. And if they get someone really good to play Bill, I think it'd be great.
But I feel like Amy Adams attracts so much from you got to build the whole team around Amy Adams, and I wouldn't want that to happen.
I don't know. Amy Adams was wonderful in Arrival. So when I'm thinking about that dynamic between Bill and Beverly, if they can do something close to what happened in Arrival, I think Amy Adams would be a perfect fit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, like Eric said, you'd have to build the entire dynamic of the Losers Club around Amy Adams if you were to do that. And I don't know if I really want to see that happening because, the girl that played Beverly was just really good. She played that strong role so well. I don't want to see that abandoned with a miscasting for them.
Yeah. Someone else I could think about to play Beverly would probably be, it depends, because, Sophie Turner's hit and miss, but I would like to see her take on Beverly.
If
Sophie Turner's from Game of Thrones. She plays Sansa Stark. She's also in X-Men Apocalypse. She plays Jean Grey.
I can see. I can see her sort of. My only familiarity with her work comes from her as Jean Grey, so I'd have to see her a little bit more to see how well her acting is. Like I said, I just really, really want to see that strength from Bev to just stay and be finalized.
I just can't picture Sophie in the Losers Club. I'm trying so hard right now, but I just can't. She's just, she's just so serious. And
Well, I mean, their character in Game of Thrones has become more serious.
No. Like I'm talking about her, like
Her as an
if
actress?
if you see all her character, if you see Jean, and you see Sansa, the one thing that's shared is seriousness, man. Like, and I don't feel like, as Beverly grows, she's gonna get serious, but she also needs that bit of childish play that's in Beverly. She's got to be able to let loose. If I see
Well, I
that
mean, Sansa's character, what's it called? Sophie Turner's character in Game of Thrones plays the abuse victim real well. Like, you can see in her face how much the effect of the rape that she went through has. So, if they're going to play into that idea that Beverly is an abuse victim, I would say Sophie Turner would be a go. Because she has an experience in playing that character already.
I see where you're coming from. I just don't want to see it happen.
Yeah. I mean, and then again, we're probably not going to get who will be the cast for these older people. I know that one of the cast members said that they wanted Chris Pratt, and I think somebody else said that they wanted Jake Gyllenhaal. I think that's just a little bit absurd.
Yeah, that's too much. I don't think there's enough salary to go around to give Chris Pratt and all those, just enough money to take for them.
Yeah.
See, hearing that, it's like really, I can't imagine those. I mean, like I can't imagine those being like, oh yeah, that was the Losers Club. Look at them now. That's why I said that I think that Green should be like Richie, because not only was he Richie in the original '90s series, but you look at Seth Green and you're like, okay, yeah, I can see him still being in the Losers Club.
Yeah.
Oh no, let's bring in Chris Pratt. Richie somehow became a ginger.
Like real high. Like, you'll see the Losers Club like super handsome and like, yeah, you guys don't look like the Losers Club to me. Like, y'all don't look like the dudes that were bullied. Yeah, well, on that note, thank you, Alex. Is there anything else you want to talk about that you had jotted down? Do you really want to mention?
No, that was pretty much all that I really jotted down. I'm just really hoping that we get chapter 2 sooner than later. I don't want to rush the production, but I really want to see how this one turns out.
All right, yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get some news about that soon. I hope they go into production next year. Hopefully get them filmed out in 2019. But yeah, thank you, Alex and Eric, for being on the show.
Thanks for having me,
man. I'm talking about it. Wonderful movie. It is out on theaters. I believe it'll be out for a little bit more, so for some more time. If you do want to go watch it, I recommend it. I give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. Eric?
I want to give it an 8.2.
All right, Alex.
I give it 8 Georgies out of 10.
Shut up. 8 Georgies out of 10. All right, well, that was it. Thank you, Alex, for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Well, I'm gonna hang up. If it's really fun having you on the show. If you want to come back another time, I believe next week we'll be talking about Kingsman. But I'm not sure. I have to see what's up, just with scheduling and all that stuff.
Okay, well, whenever you want to have me back, I'm more than welcome to be back.
Yeah. Hopefully next time we'll get this whole Google Hangout audio recording thing down, so that way we can have a more group of people talking. But yeah, thanks for being on the show, Alex.
No problem.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Alright. Thank you, Eric, for being on the show, too.
No problem. I'm just a door away.
Shut up. Alright, well, you were listening to the Nerd Corpse on Anchor. Thank you again. I really do apologize for not recording and uploading something last week. I was sick, like I said. But thank you for listening to the podcast. We'll be back next week. Hopefully, going to be doing a review of Kingsman: The Secret Service. I believe that's the new one. Yeah. We'll hopefully record. Eric, stop. Please. You're really making me lose my train of thought. Yeah, so hopefully we'll be reviewing that. But that was it. Thank you guys for listening, and take care. We love you all. And have a good rest of your day whenever you're listening to this.